going on today, y'all? So I picked up another bow you all are familiar with on my channel, a Wessel Recurve. This bow is a Cocobolo in the middle here, the red, with Bocote on the outside. It has Bocote limbs, and it also has bronze antler bolts on here. Let me move my screen so I can see. It has bronze antler bolts on here, like I was saying. But man, what a good looking bow. Check that out. I'm running a Sailway slide-on quiver. I've been liking these a lot. I put a little bit of a few rubber bands in my gripper here so it wouldn't, it would muffle the air rattle down. But we're going to be shooting the deep impact 400s on here, 175 point and a 100 grain focus system up front just to start. So y'all stay tuned. This bow is a heavy one. It's like I said, it's 58 pounds at 28. So at my draw, it's closer to, 60 pounds, 59 pounds, 60 pounds. So we'll see how it does. All right, y'all. So I just want to get a few warm-up shots with this bow. I'm not going to take a lot of shots with it. A 60-pound bow for me is going to be a little tiring. Hopefully I can maintain good form and focus and, put the arrow where I'm looking. I'm just going to take two initial shots at the deer target just to get loosened up, and then we'll shoot at the javelina a little bit. Fast flying arrow. Felt like I did have a little creep, and we're going to try that again. Accurate bow here. All right, so those were two okay shots. I'm going to go ahead and start shooting at the smaller target now. Let's see, I think I'm running all 400s on here. I had a 500 in a 500 spot in my mix, and I was going to make sure that wasn't still in there. That arrow looked like it flew a little bit down. I got to make sure. One thing that I saw on a video, when you grip that bow, if your hands move, you grip the bow, it'll cause that bow arm to drop. So that may be a lot of where my lower shooting's coming from. Missed the target to the right. It's a fast bow, but right now I can tell y'all it's not a very comfortable bow for me to shoot. I may use this one like to get loosened up before I shoot my 50-pound Black Widow, but I got it for a good price, from a buddy of mine, so I went ahead and bought it. But it's a pretty heavy bow. Try to shoot this. Right there in the javelina. Let's try to focus a little more with this one. Put the shots in the javelina target stacked up. But like I said, heavier bow. Definitely. I just woke up, so I'm definitely kind of getting fatigued pretty quick with it. It's not a bow that I want to shoot all day long. It's a smooth bow though. Really smooth draw. Once you get it back, it's pretty easy to hold. shooting low for some reason. I'm just see what that's all about. I'm gonna move this knot point down and see if that helps. Maybe get the kick up off the shelf. I'm not noticing. Let's see what this does. Alright, so one main reason that I went ahead and bought a heavier bow, one was to work on my back, if I can get used to shooting a heavier bow and just working with it, then when I pick up my lighter bow, it's gonna be just not much strain on my back at all. It's gonna be an easy bow to draw and hold, and I'd love to have that with like a 50-pound bow for a hunting rig. This bow will be perfect for like any kind of hunting bow. You're not gonna be holding forever on the shot. You're gonna be making a pretty, a focused shot, but a kind of a quick shot. But I know this bow will be able to, get through an animal if I were to make a bad shot. If these arrows hit the animal in a, not a perfect shot placement, that arrow is still going to have that force and momentum to get through, get through to the other side, get through the vitals, or if I hit a liver shot, it'll break, enough to break ribs and, blow through, so I can at least feel a little bit good about the shot. But right now, I'm not the strongest dude in the world, and I hate to say this, but 58 pounds doesn't sound like a lot, but it's not a bow, like I said, I don't want to shoot it all day long, so. And I let that one off my face. Notice that right hit. You let that arrow off your face, you're gonna get a right hit. I gotta come around. I gotta work and get that elbow back. If I can get that elbow back, I can definitely make a more straight shot. That shot was low again. Alright, we keep getting some low shots. I gotta correct this. These arrows are probably close to being what this bow needs. I have so many bows, I don't want to, I have like 5 bows right now. I don't want to tune a set of arrows to each. That gets expensive, so I'll just, shoot what I have. A lot of guys on my comments will be telling me, oh man, you need to tune a set of arrows to each bow, which I agree with that 100%, but I'm not gonna buy, these arrows right here aren't cheap. I'm not gonna buy a set of arrows for each bow and have them tuned in if I don't plan on keeping the bow. That's, that's gonna be a waste of money. All right, that arrow was right in the middle, but it went low. I gotta figure out what I'm doing. I don't know why this bow is shooting low like it is. Missed that one to the right. So that low shot and that right shot are the two problems I'm having right now. It's probably a form issue, but we're gonna correct it in this video. Okay, right shot again. I let off my face. Whew, let's get used to shooting these arrows. I wanted to mention something. So, I like a heavy arrow for hunting, don't get me wrong. But I've been shooting those gold tip Hunter XT 400s, and they are coming out at right at 420 grains, which compared to this arrow, which is 570, that's a big difference in weight. One thing I noticed about those arrows, they fly flat, they're fast, and they hit plenty hard. They're a little bit noisier than the heavy arrow, but I think that would work plenty fine for a hunting setup. Now, for a bow, for most of your bows out there, you're gonna have an arrow grain per pound, for the bow. like with these are right, even though they're 570 grains for this bow at 58 pounds, these are running right in like 9.5, 9.7. I'm not sure what the math is, but they're still, you need to be shooting like a 10 grain per pound arrow for a hunting arrow. That's a standard. Where those gold tip 400s for this bow are running like a 7.2 GPI, which is kind of light. And I think it worked just fine. Rick Welch, one of my favorite guys to watch his videos and his hunting, he shot a lighter arrow, and the guy, it was shooting like I think a 55 pound to 60 pound bow, and he was shooting lighter. I'm not sure what the, how light, but I know they weren't some 600 grain arrow. I know his arrows were in the 400 grains, like low 400s. So he was getting passed through on animals just fine, and it did the job. So I don't see a big point of using the heavy arrows unless you really have to. But once again, you go look at your old school guys like Paul Schaefer. He was shooting a heavy arrow. He was shooting like an 85 pound bow. And I'm pretty sure like Paul Bruner, he was shooting a heavy arrow. Brian Wessel shoots his bows here with sure a heavy hunting arrow or a wood arrow. A lot of guys, a lot of your old school hunters, the Wessel brothers, they shot a heavier bow and arrows. All those guys were shooting like probably 55 to 65 pound bows or heavier. Ooh, right there in the center. I think I found my mark. Make sure, see if I can make another one. A little low. See, I had that riser held in a certain spot. Haven't been pure instinctive for a little while. I'm starting to use that, my bow to kind of line up to the target, and it seems to be helping me a little bit. Come down, get my bow lined up, and make a good shot. Let's see if we can do that again. Okay, so brand new javelina target, and I got a pass through already with this arrow. That's man, I hate to say it, but that's a kind of a bad thing for me. I don't want to. I'm gonna have to buy extra inserts for these targets if my arrows are going to be passing through. Ooh, perfect shot, y'all. Okay, I'm pretty sure that arrow is through that target. These arrows are flying in the 190s at a 570 grain arrow, 190 feet per second I'm moving. I'm pretty sure they're low. Pretty sure they're blowing through things. Right there in the middle. If I maintain good form and keep that bow arm back, I'll make a good shot. Well, I guarantee none of my other bows right now are going to be putting arrows all the way through that tough Reinhardt target, especially a fresh one. Now this one, that's an exception. Ooh, good shot. A little loose there. I think if I don't think about the weight as much, I can pretty much do what I need to do. As far as the, me keeping in the form, I got a good group down there, but it's low, and like I said, I have to kind of have to see how this bow is doing. It's probably, my arrow is probably doing something weird in the air. Boom, good form right there in the center. Gotta do that on every shot. All right, guys, so we're gonna shoot a few downrange now. I'm gonna try to focus on my form with the heavier bow and see how it looks, you know, see if I'm getting, you know, good back tension, a good follow through. And I've noticed on all of my shots that are right in the middle, every time it feels like it's a good shot and I'm having good form and good back tension. Ooh. I know I had a little bobble there, but it was right in the middle of the javelina target. Great shot. Ooh, hit the arrow. Hit the other arrow right in the middle of the javelina target, y'all. This bow is quick. There's no arc to it. It's a super flat flying arrow. I'm shooting, like I said, 18 yards from here. My hunting shot. That was low right there. We'll have to watch that one, see what I did. I may have gripped that bow, and I think that's what's causing my low shots. When I get next time I get a low shot, we're gonna put that clip in slow-mo and see exactly what I'm doing with my bow arm to possibly cause that issue. Bow arm, I might be gripping the bow, I might be letting down, not sure. That was low. So we're gonna look at that one. They're in the middle, but they're low. A little low. Maybe I'm not picking my bow arm up enough. Boom, right there in the middle. All right, so we're gonna try to get more of a behind the back shot than I have been, just to see what's going on with my bow arm. See if I'm making a good, you know, a good follow through, getting behind there and not creeping and things like that. Good shot. I felt like I was creeping a little bit, but it was right in the middle, and maybe that's what I need to that's what I need to do to keep these arrows, you know, hitting in the middle like that. Get that bow arm around there. Now I pulled that one. Let's take our time on this one. A little bit of noise there. Low shot, so I'm gonna have to watch those form. I'm pretty sure I fell apart on those last two. Y'all, I'm getting pretty tired here. Another thing I want to say, shooting groups, and I posted this in one of my videos. Shooting groups is probably not the best way to gain accuracy. You really need to be focused and concentrated on that one spot on each and every shot versus, you know, trying to chase an arrow with it, which is what a group is. You're trying to do exactly what you did on that, you know, that initial shot to put that other arrow where the last one went, instead of focusing, you know, instead of maintaining total focus on the spot you need to hit. So what I'm gonna do on this, I'm gonna shoot one in the deer, I'm gonna shoot one in the javelina. I'm gonna try to hit one of the dots on the block target. And that'll be 3 separate places I can look, but 3 separate areas that I can shoot every time to you know, work on my accuracy. So let's start out with the deer. That arrow was low. Not sure what I did causing that low arrow, but it was low. Let's shoot the javelina now. Boom. A little low, but a better shot. I raised that bow arm up and it seemed to flatten that arrow out. Now let's see if we can put it in the top right dot on my block target. Top right, let's focus. Right there in the center of the top right dot. Perfect shot. I really appreciate y'all watching this one. We're gonna get two more groups of 3 at the targets I just shot at. And then that'll be a good warm-up review with the Brian Wessel Recurve. I love these Recurves, y'all. They just work. They're a good built bow. They're comfortable. And this one's pretty fast. So that was a little low. Something I should have held that bow arm up a little, I think, but it was a super fast flat flying arrow. Boom. A little bit to the right. Good up and down though. Let's hit that dot again. Wow, way off. Pretty sure I fell apart on that one. Pretty sure I let down. No shot you have is gonna be perfect. You're gonna mess up being a traditional archer. Some people may have more of a concrete shot than me. Mine's not. I've been practicing for years and I still fall apart. So, it's just something I do. But let's see if we can have 3 better shots on this one. But I appreciate y'all watching this video, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Ooh, that was a good shot. Good shot, and I held low. I saw myself hold low. So I know it was in the middle, but it wasn't in the center of the javelina. That one went down, so. All right, y'all, last 3 shots. Appreciate y'all watching this one. It's my Brian Wessel Recurve. Y'all check out Brian's bows, they're great. I've had a few of them. Not sure how long I'm keeping this one. I wanted to shoot a heavier bow, but whew, I'm pretty tired. I like being able to shoot a bow all day and still be able to go hunting with it, and this one is gonna be pushing the limits on that. That one was way low. Shot was way low. Guarantee I let down. I'm gonna get used to this heavy bow, but probably not gonna be one I'm shooting forever. There we go. Gotta pull all the way through. That's the main game in this, is getting that good back tension. You got good back tension, you'll make an accurate shot. All right, y'all, I appreciate y'all watching this one. This is my Wessel Recurve. Brian makes a good bow. I feel like I'm a little overbowed with this one. My shots are not as well placed as, you know, some of my other bows. I think I need to stick with about a 48 pound to 50 pound bow, 46 to 50 pound bow. That's about my range, and it should be plenty to do what I need to do. I've shot clean through hogs and deer with a, you know, 51 pound Schaefer, and it wasn't a beast of a bow to pull back as this one. This one's pretty hefty. It was a good shot, but it was low. And this bow should not be shooting low arrows as fast as it is. Every one of them should be pretty flat and high. That was a good shot right in the middle of the javelina. Felt good. I had a good follow through on it. I want to put another one in the deer target. That target's messing me up right now. Same spot, low. I'm not sure what's going on with that. All right, we're gonna shoot 3 just as the deer target to see what I got going on. That was a little higher, but it still wasn't where I was looking. I'm looking at that middle of that 10 ring, and it's kind of up high there. Right there is a better shot. What exactly where I want it to go though. Went low.